for 300,000 years, human life was essentially stagnant. So whether you were, a hunter-gatherer working away in the Stone Age or a laborer working away in, feudal times just before the start of the Industrial Revolution, although your lives would have differed in lots of respects, fundamentally from an economic point of view, it would have been remarkably similar, a sort of relentless, unforgiving struggle for subsistence. And that only really changes a few hundred years ago with the Industrial Revolution in Britain. It's the first time in human history we see economic growth that's both significant and sustained. As if some long kind of pent-up productive power is finally unleashed. The only way in which we were able to unleash that productive power was through capitalism.
So the slave trade had no role to play in this? Or the enclosures, for instance?
No, I don't think those are serious explanations for the start of modern economic growth. That's a bigger conversation, but no. The question is, can we redirect capitalism? Can we channel flourishing, the sort of flourishing that you want, in the capitalism that we have? Or do you need another entirely different system to enable that capitalism? My argument would be it's only through capitalism that we can both nurture and direct that flourishing.
Isn't it a theological position? I mean, there is no empirical ground to believe that. It's a theological position, like you can believe or not believe in God.
I'd say it's a philosophical position rather than a theological one.
No, I would absolutely say that we have to add the addendum that capitalism unleashed during the first industrial revolution was at the cost of slavery, was the cost of disruption. And that is something that we're struggling with and contending with today. Capitalism for thee, but was not capitalism for me.
For me, it's obvious that there are obvious limits to capitalism. Capitalism recognizes me as a subject in only 2 or 3 identities: as an entrepreneur, as a consumer, as an investor. I don't exist in any other identity for capitalism. I don't exist as a parent. I don't exist as a neighbor. I don't exist as a citizen. All of those become secondary.
Or as a biological being that needs to breathe.
Which also means that all of the acts of creativity and innovation that can undertake in those identities don't exist and don't get valorized. So for me, the only way to be creative and to feel really at the top of my game is to be an entrepreneur. I go and I found a startup. I valorize my creativity that way, which forces me to accumulate data from my users and to find ways to sell it, to commodify. And right now, digital technology, in opening up at least the visibility of other ways of being creative in the world, shows the limitations of capitalism as well. And I think we have to be very attentive to those because it opens up entirely new ways of being that transcend traditional socialism, that transcend traditional communism, that open up new ways of actually being and acting in the world that enhances what came before and opens up new ways of feeling and being and acting.